Welcome to Legacy IS Academy. Today I am going to discuss topic that is reforming seventh schedule. So first of all, we will try to understand why this topic is important. So recently we have seen many expert advocated revisiting seventh schedule of the Indian Constitution. So when we talked about seventh schedule, basically seventh schedule is a basis of federalism in India. When we see federalism is basically division of resources, division of power, division of responsibility among center and the state. Here, when we see Indian Constitution under seventh schedule also divide the resources between center and state, also divide the power between center and state, and also divide responsibility between center and state. When we see this distribution, in this distribution, more resources are given to center as compared to state, more power is giving to center as compared to state, and more responsibility is giving state to as compared to center. So here this is a mismanagement of distribution of resources, power and the responsibility in seventh schedule. So here we will try to understand the evolution of seventh schedule. To understand evolution of seventh schedule, when we say evolution of seventh schedule, we are trying to understand evolution of federalism in India. Basically, evolution of seventh schedule simple means that how federalism was started in India, how division of power was started between center and the state. So 1861, we have Indian Council Act 1861 brought provincial legislative council which had substantial Indian representative. So during British time we have Act Indian Council Act. This act started formally. We have Central Legislative Council and we have Provincial Legislative Council. So to some power this act give to provinces also. Later on Lord Ripon resolution introduced elected municipal council and rural district board. So when we see the federalism simple means distribution of power, resources, responsibility. So in 1882, again some power is giving to municipality and some power is giving to rural district board. So power is coming from center to district level or municipal level. In 1909, Government of India Act 1909 empower this provincial legislative council enabling more Indian representative. It simple means that whenever representations are increasing in provincial legislative council, it simple means power is going to divide between center and the provinces. Later on, we have Government of India Act 1919 relaxed central control over provinces. So we can say that one side we have center and other side we have provinces. Provinces somehow getting independence or provinces somehow getting the power, getting the resources and getting the responsibility. So we can say that element of federalisms are going to enter. Whenever we say element of federalisms are going to enter, it simple means that power, resources, responsibility we have to write somewhere. So slowly this evolution of the seventh schedule we can see. And later on we have 1935. This Government of India Act 1935 basically lay down the scheme of distribution of legislative power into three lists. So whatever list as of now we are following, that is the union list, state list and the concurrent list. This list was originated as per Government of India Act. So in this way we can see that how evolution of seventh schedule or evolution of the federal features we can see in our Indian Constitution also. Now when you see seventh schedule, in seventh schedule we can say that we have union list, second we have state list, and third we have concurrent list. In union list we know that in union list exclusive power, just understand, exclusive power is given to parliament to make a law. Exclusive means only parliament can make the law with regard to defense, foreign affairs, railways, banking, etc. State cannot make the law in those subjects. Second thing is here 100 items are mentioned. So number is more and the value of item is also more. So I can say that these the item which are mentioned in the union list, they are very important. They are more revenue generating items. So that's why because of that reason center is getting more power and center is getting more resources. So power and resources are giving to center as per union list. When we talked about other side, state list, state have not exclusive power. Only state can make legislature in general circumstances or normal circumstances. State has exclusive power, but parliament can also make law on the state subject as per article 249, as per article 250, as per article 252, as per article 253, as per article 356. So these are the some articles which are mentioned in our constitution. In those items or as per this article, parliament is empowered to make law on state subject. If you see the subject matters like public order, police, public health, sanitation, all the things. So these are the things creating more responsibility. So one thing is these are the item health. Health is not giving power to the state. Health is giving responsibility to the state. Sewage is not giving power to the state. Sewage is giving responsibility to the state. So somehow state list is not giving power and resources but giving responsibility to the state. And you see number. So one thing when we talked about union list, numbers are more, giving more resources to center, giving more power to center. When we talked about state list somehow giving more responsibility to the state. Now we have concurrent list. In concurrent list, both parliament and state have power to make law. But whenever there is a dispute between parliamentary law and the state law, parliamentary law is going to override the state law. Second thing is like you see education, population control, family planning, criminal law. In all these subject, parliament is also empowered to make law. So whenever we see distribution of legislative power, same way this power is reflecting in executive actions also. So when we see this distribution of power is biased towards center and taking away the powers of the state, and we can see that Indian federalism is not true federalism. It is biased toward the center and making somehow India as a unitary. So now we will see some rationale of keeping seventh schedule in Indian constitution. Why this power or why we are giving more power to center as compared to state? Okay, ensuring unity and integrity of India. Whenever this power is given by constitutions to center, it is giving some purpose. So one purpose is to ensure unity and integrity of India, enabling responsive governance. Whenever center has more power, and other side we have regional inequality. This regional inequality can be addressed whenever center is more empowered. Like center is getting more fund, that fund can be given to poor state. Whenever we have true federalism, in true federalism, a state will prohibit to give more fund to other state. Rich state may prohibit, but as per our own constitution, center have more power, center have more resources. These resources can be redistributed among the state as per will of the center, achieving balanced economic development or balanced regional development and promoting diversity. It simply means that this power is given to center and subjects are divided in such a way that we can ensure unity and integrity of India. Same time, diversity can also be respected. But what are the argument? Okay, some scholars have argued that this seventh schedule is archaic in nature or very old. Here we have taken it from Government of India Act. In Government of India Act, Residuary power is given to viceroy, and same way we have given residuary power to parliament. One thing. Second thing is when we see the distribution of power, resources and the responsibility, power is given to center, resources are given to center, and responsibility is given to state. That thing we have to revisit again. Service delivery, when we talked about minimum governance and maximum governance. So minimum government and maximum government. This concept will come only when we are giving more resources to the state. When state have more resources, they can deliver justice to the people also. This framework, whatever framework we are following, in such framework it is very difficult to achieve. Centralizations. So we have seen like forest educations. As per 42nd Amendment, these forest education has transferred from state to concurrent list. And when these are transferred, then concurrent list also in these subject, Parliament can also make the law. Dominant positions of the center. As I told, more resources, more power is given to center, and that power can be sometimes misused also. Center-state conflicts. States are always demanding greater autonomy, basically financial autonomy. Whenever they are demanding more autonomy, and somehow they want to revisit again 7th schedule. Before what we have to do? Anyway, federalism is basic structure of the constitution which divide power between center and the state. So we have to constitute high powered commissions which will again revisit the division of power, responsibility and resources between center and the state, and as per their recommendations parliament has to take actions. Institutional framework, we have to create institutional arrangement to divide the power. For example, now residuary power is given to center. So center will take action, so parliament will make law after consulting with the state. Sarkariya commissions also recommended we have to give in residuary power to the state. And in concurrent list, generally parliament should not make the law. If parliament is going to make the law on concurrent list, parliament has to consult with the state also. Periodic review, like we have make our constitution 70 years back. It is time we have to again relook the 7th schedule also. And M.N. Punchi commissions also talked about we have to transfer certain entities from concurrent to state. So these are the some way forward we can see that. So overall, we can see that it is not major reforms are needed under 7th schedule. It is not that. We have to think that we have to transfer some of the subject without compromising unity and the integrity, national interest of the country. So this is all about the 7th schedule. Hope you are able to understand basics about 7th schedule. What are the argument which goes against the distribution of the power between center and the state, and what measures we have to take. Thank you again watching this video.